Welcome back to Adventure Freaks. I'm Ray, and today I'm excited to share this video with you. Why? Because I'm about to show you 5 incredible places I've never discussed before, and I'm pretty sure most of you have never heard of them either. These are hidden gems that sit far outside the usual travel radar, don't attract the tourists and expats like so many other countries I talk about here, and they are absolutely perfect to live and retire in. It's truly hard to believe nobody's talking about these places, but today we are. And today we're uncovering the 5 amazing hidden gems to live or retire abroad that you've never heard of. I'm going to share why these places have stayed virtually unknown for so long, what makes each one truly special, what it takes to get residency, and what it actually costs to live there. And you'll want to stick around until the end because I'm saving our top pick for last, and it is truly stunning. Now let's dive in. Hi, can Ernest and I ask you a favor? If you find our content helpful, please hit that subscribe and like button. It truly helps us grow, and it makes Ernest happy. The first hidden gem on our list sits on the Black Sea coast of Bulgaria, and I can almost guarantee it's never crossed your mind as a place to live or retire in Europe, but it should. This is Burgas. And once you understand what this city actually offers, you'll wonder why nobody is talking about it. Burgas sits right on the Black Sea, and that alone sets it apart. We're talking wide open sandy beaches, long coastal promenades where locals stroll morning and evening, and a relaxed seaside atmosphere that feels nothing like the overcrowded Mediterranean. This is coastal Europe without the chaos. There's a genuine charm here, a walkable city center, a thriving cafe culture, summer festivals, galleries, theaters, and a historic core where older architecture meets the sea. Just outside the city, you have large lakes and protected natural areas that are internationally recognized for bird migration and wildlife. It's the kind of place where you can walk the beach in the morning, sit in a cafe by afternoon, and watch the sunset over the water at night, all without fighting off crowds of tourists. Now, why has Burgas stayed so unknown? Bulgaria simply hasn't had the same international spotlight as Western or Southern Europe. It sits slightly off the main travel circuit, and that's exactly what has kept places like this so special. And then there's the affordability. To live here as a retiree, you'll typically need a Type D visa with proof of income of around $3,600 per year. That's right, $3,600 per year. That's just $300 a month, plus savings and health insurance. Remote workers generally need proof of foreign income of around $31,000 per year. Either way, Bulgaria remains one of the most accessible and lowest cost entry points into Europe. Rent for a modern one-bedroom apartment runs roughly $400 to $800 per month here, depending on location and proximity to the coast. And a comfortable overall lifestyle here typically costs somewhere between $900 and $1,500 per month. You get coastal living, culture, nature, affordability, and virtually no one else from the expat world has discovered it yet. That's why Burgas is our first hidden gem on our list. Up next, our second hidden gem on our list takes us to North Macedonia and to a place that feels almost unreal when you first see it. This is Lake Ohrid. It's truly unique as the water shifts between deep blue and turquoise depending on the light, and it's so clear that in some spots you can see 22 meters down. It almost doesn't look real. That clarity comes from underground springs that feed the lake from below, keeping it impossibly clean and glass-like year-round. But what makes Ohrid truly special is what surrounds the water. The historic town rises gently above the shoreline, cobblestone streets, terracotta rooftops, medieval churches, and monasteries layered into the hillside. At one point, this town had 365 churches, one for every day of the year. And perched dramatically on a cliff directly above the lake sits the iconic church of St. John at Caneo. At sunset, the lake turns gold and deep blue beneath it. It is genuinely breathtaking. The atmosphere here is slower, quieter, and more traditional than many European tourist destinations, which is part of what makes it so appealing for people looking for a more relaxed lifestyle. In terms of living here, North Macedonia is part of the EU, which means residency is handled through the national long-stay permits. Retirees typically need to show proof of stable income or pension, usually in the range of $1,000 to $1,500 per month, along with accommodation and health insurance. Remote workers can often stay through extended visas or residence permits tied to income or business activity, with requirements varying depending on the permit type. Cost of living here is significantly lower than most of Europe. In Ohrid, for a one-bedroom apartment, typically ranges from $300 to $600 per month, depending on location and lake views. Overall monthly living costs for a comfortable lifestyle usually fall between $800 to $1,200 per month. But what really defines Lake Ohrid is the environment around it. You have the lake itself, which offers boating, swimming, and some of the clearest freshwater scenery in Europe. You have surrounding hills and walking trails with panoramic views. And within the town, there are historic churches, ancient ruins, lakeside cafes, and a growing local wine and food culture that adds to the experience. It's the kind of place where nature and history exist side by side, without feeling overly developed or crowded. And this makes Lake Ohrid our second hidden gem on our list. If you've been thinking about moving abroad, but you're still stuck on where to go or even where to qualify, well, you're not alone. That uncertainty is exactly what holds most people back. That's why we created our Ideal Destination Finder, a simple 25-question assessment designed to cut through the noise. It looks at your lifestyle, budget, goals, and preferences and gives you your top 3 best fit countries to move to. No more guessing, no more endless research, just clear, personalized direction that saves you time, money, and a lot of frustration. And if you're that kind of person that wants more clarity, someone to talk things through with, I offer one-on-one consultations where we can map this out together based on your exact situation. If you're ready to move forward, head over to adventurefreaksss.com. You can scroll down a little and you'll see the ideal destination on the left. Just click it and get started. On the right, you can book a consultation with me. Pick a time that works for you. It's that simple. We'd love to help you finally get clear and take the next step. The third hidden gem on our list takes us to Romania, and to a city that feels like it belongs in a completely different era. This is Sibiu. So Romania is one of those countries that often gets overlooked in Europe, sitting quietly in the eastern part of the continent with far less international attention than its western neighbors. Because of that, many of the most beautiful cities have remained relatively unknown to outsiders. Sibiu is one of the best examples of that. It's a medieval Transylvania city known for its pastel-colored buildings, cobblestone squares, and preserved old town that still feels lived in rather than staged for tourism. The architecture here carries strong Saxon influence, and the entire historic center is one of the most visually striking in the region. What makes Sibiu especially interesting is that it offers a very walkable, compact city experience with cafes, markets, cultural events, and public squares all centered around the old town. At the same time, it's surrounded by mountains and rural landscapes that are just a short drive away. In terms of living here, Romania remains one of the more affordable countries in Europe. For residency, non-EU citizens typically apply through employment, business ownership, self-employment, retirement income, or financial self-sufficiency. There is no fixed income requirement for retirees or financially independent applicants. Approval is based on proving sufficient means through pensions, savings, or stable income. Many remote workers and entrepreneurs also use a Romanian company SRL or proof of ongoing foreign income, along with standard requirements like health insurance and accommodation. Cost of living in Sibiu is quite low by European standards. Rent for a one-bedroom apartment usually ranges from $350 to $700 per month, depending on location and quality. Overall monthly living costs for a comfortable lifestyle typically fall between $800 and $1,500 per month. But what really defines Sibiu is the atmosphere. You have historic squares filled with cafes and street life, centuries-old architecture, nearby mountain scenery, and a strong cultural identity that shows up in festivals, food, and daily life. It's the kind of place where history doesn't feel distant, it feels like part of the everyday environment, making Sibiu our third hidden gem on our list. And the fourth hidden gem on our list takes us to Bosnia and Herzegovina, and to a city that stops you in your tracks the moment you see it. This is Mostar. Bosnia and Herzegovina is one of the most overlooked countries in Europe when it comes to tourism and relocation. Sitting outside the EU and rarely promoted as a mainstream destination. But what it offers is some of the most dramatic and visually striking scenery in the entire region. At the heart of Mostar is its iconic stone bridge, the Stari Most, a 16th century Ottoman arch spanning the emerald green Neretva River, surrounded by minarets, stone houses, and mountains rising every direction. The old town feels straight out of a fantasy: cobblestone streets, Ottoman-era architecture, and craft bazaars selling copperwork, handmade goods, and local art. And the river running through the center, that deep, impossible shade of turquoise green, ties it all together. The setting here is what makes it so powerful. Deep river valleys, surrounding mountains, and a city built around a historic crossing point that has shaped its identity for centuries. Life here moves at a slower pace, and the old town in particular is filled with traditional markets, cafes, riverside restaurants, and small local workshops that keep the historic character alive. In terms of living here, Bosnia and Herzegovina is not part of the EU, so residency is handled through national long-stay permits. There is no official documented income threshold for retirees or financially self-sufficient applicants. Approval is based on demonstrating that you can support yourself through pensions, savings, or stable income. In practice, a realistic, safe range most applicants aim to show is around $1,000 to $1,500 per month. Cost of living is one of the biggest draws. In Mostar, rent for a one-bedroom apartment typically ranges from $300 to $700 per month, depending on location and condition. Overall monthly living costs for a comfortable lifestyle usually fall between $700 and $1,200 per month. Truly impressive and certainly a remarkable place where your money goes further. But what really defines Mostar is the atmosphere. You have the historic bridge, the river running through the heart of the city, mountain backdrops, and a preserved old town that still feels deeply authentic rather than commercialized. It's one of those places where the setting alone does most of the storytelling, making Mostar our fourth hidden gem. And finally, our top pick on this list takes us to the Czech Republic, and to a place that looks like it was pulled straight out of a storybook. This is Cesky, Krumlov. Now, the Czech Republic is already known for its capital, Prague, but beyond the main tourist routes are smaller towns that often get overlooked entirely. And Cesky, Krumlov is one of the most visually striking examples of that. The entire old town is wrapped around a bend in the Vltava River, with a massive castle rising above red-roofed buildings, cobblestone streets, and tightly packed historic architecture that has been preserved for centuries. What makes this place so special is the layout itself. From above, it almost doesn't look real. The river curves around the town in a near-perfect loop, creating one of the most recognizable panoramic views in Central Europe. Life here is centered around the Old Town experience. You'll find small cafes, local restaurants, galleries, seasonal festivals, and strong cultural atmosphere that comes from its long history as a medieval trading and artistic hub. In terms of living here, the Czech Republic is part of the EU, so residency for non-EU citizens typically comes through long-stay visas based on work, business, study, or self-sufficiency. There is no fixed income requirement. Approval is based on proving you can financially support yourself through income or savings. In practice, a safe guideline is around $1,000 per month in income or equivalent savings to clearly demonstrate financial self-sufficiency. Cost of living in Cesky Krumlov is higher than smaller rural towns in the region, but still moderate by European standards. Rent for a one-bedroom apartment typically ranges from $600 to $1,000 per month, depending on location and season. Overall monthly living costs for a comfortable lifestyle usually fall between $1,200 and $2,000 per month. But what makes it the top pick isn't just the town itself, it's the combination of visual impact, preservation, and atmosphere all in one place. It's one of those rare destinations that looks almost unreal in its beauty, but feels even more impressive when you see how completely the entire town is built around its landscape. And that is why Cesky Krumlov tops our list. So there you have it, 5 incredible hidden gem places to live or retire that you've likely never heard of. From Burgas to Lake Ohrid, Sibiu, Mostar, and finally, Cesky Krumlov. Let us know in the comments which hidden gem stood out to you the most. And if you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing and like the video. It truly helps us bring you more content like this. And if you're ready to take the next step and want guidance or support in moving abroad, visit adventurefreaksss.com. It's packed with helpful resources to help you get started. And as always, thank you for viewing. I'm Ray with Adventure Freaks, showing you how to live your best life abroad.